What's up, Knife Tube? It's Diamond Cut Steel, and you guys are going to learn something today. All right. What we're going to do, it's going to be fun, actually. I posted a post that showed y'all that I was going to do a head-to-head between CRKT D2, CRKT 8cr. Just to, show side-by-side difference between the steels, and just for shits and giggles. One of these little pieces of crap. Let's just see how long it cuts. I sharpened it. Let's just see. Now, see, when people buy, these really cheap knives, and I'm not talking to the knife community right now, I'm talking to just new people. And you see something advertised as, ooh, surgical stainless steel. That surgical on there makes you think, it's put there to make you think it's good. All that means is it's non-reactive with the human body. That's all surgical means. If the steel won't react with the human body, it's a surgical steel. That means nothing to the quality. So it's sharp. And let me tell you, it does not sharpen very good. It's sharp though. How many cuts you think it'll make? And it does got geometry on its side, I'll tell you that. How many cuts you think? I'm gonna say 2. I'm gonna say 2. It might only do 1. It might do 5. Might do 50. Who knows? And I'm not worried about how much blade I'm using. So, yeah, use the whole blade. Or to check it. Is it going to surprise us? Okay. Well, hey, it still cut that good. Well, I'm wrong. Can it go 5? I'm bumping the camera, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, there it. Oh, yeah, I just felt it start to dull. Now, it probably will still pass, but I felt it start to dull on 4 cuts. Yeah, and you can see it in the paper cut up there towards the tip. Yeah, it's probably got 1 or 2 more in it. Now it's not really wanting to cut through it. It's taking a lot more force. That's 6, right? Yeah. There it is. Yep, that's it. Well, okay, maybe something's on the blade. Clean it off. Hold on. It's almost there. We're going to give it 1 more cut. 1 more will definitely do it. So I believe that was 6, right? Oh, yeah, it does not want to cut now. What? Yeah, okay. But say, let's clean it off. Yeah, okay, we're done. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can see glinting. Look at all that glinting. See it? So, what did it do? 7 cuts? Yeah. And remember, that super thin geometry definitely helps it in this test. And after the 4th cut, it started getting really progressively harder to cut that rope. Alrighty, so let me get a sticker. Let me get a sticker. Damn it. Alrighty, so we've got CRKT D2. And CRKT 8cr Pilar. Okay. All right. So let's do it. Which one y'all want to do first? Which one do y'all want to do first? I think I heard Aaron say D2, so we'll do D2. Aaron, you got to talk louder, brother. I'm pretty sure you said D2, but you know. All right, let's do it. Let me show you all the edges. This is nice Atoma 600 grit finishes. Nice and aggressive. Whoops, that was me. Sorry. Nice and aggressive. Nice and bitey. HCR, again, 600 grit finish. Nice and aggressive. All right. So let's do the D2. We're going to stick about right here. So we're going to be in this section of the blade. Let's do it. 10 cuts, test. 10 cuts, check. 10 cuts, check. So on and so forth. Tell you what, this is not a very comfortable knife to hold like this. Should cut, yeah, it cuts out rope very nice. And that is cutting that rope very nice. See, that's where well finished coarser edges on D2 perform so nicely. Man, that cut's good. That is such a good rope cutting edge. Oh, don't like that. No. That's just something on the blade, I believe. Yeah, because it just passed right through it. It felt like a skip. Yeah, we're good. Okay. That's what, 30 cuts? Yeah. Put in y'all's guesses. Where do you think this is going to finish? I put my guesses on the post. I believe I said 55 for the D2 and 30 for the 8cr because I know that CRKT, their D2 is definitely soft and their 8cr is, mid too. So 55 and 30. I mean, yeah, 55 and 30. Yeah. Not gonna lie, I can feel the edge starting to fall down. I can feel it breaking down a little bit. I can feel it breaking down, or not necessarily breaking down, but getting a little harder to cut. Looking good. There's 40. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be wrong. I think it's gonna do more than 55. I don't see no glinting. The bite is starting to fall off. The bite is definitely starting to fall off. Oh, that might be it. No. Ooh, I might not be far off, boys and girls. Nah. I do believe there's a little bit of a catch, though. No, I don't see anything. Yeah, I'm going to be wrong because we're at 50. It's definitely going to do more than 55. Just to see if I'm right. There's 55, but I know I'm not. Damn it. there's 60. It is definitely getting harder to cut. Oh. It's close. Clean that. Well, I say that. Let me clean the edge off. I wasn't far off. I believe that's it. Let me get one more piece of paper. And you give it every chance, just like we always do. Yeah, that's a fail. That is a fail. All right, there it is. So she did 60. See what the edge looks like. I only see a teeny little bit of damage and glinting. Y'all might not even be able to see it on camera. Let's see. Bring it to focus for you guys. That did better than I expected it to. See right there? A little bit of damage right here. You can't even really see it. Anyways, it's there. Of course, the edge still feels pretty sharp. Okay, CRKT. Y'all definitely did better than I expected in that one. So you did 60, right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, yep, 60. All right, so I said 55 and 30. Can the 8cr do 30? I've had some of their 8cr that performed okay. I've had some of it that performed really terrible. This knife right here, believe it or not, actually performed pretty decent. That's why I went ahead and chose this one, because this 8cr did pretty daggum good, and it actually sharpened decently. That D2, not the best sharpening D2 for sure. Again, not the best sharpening 8cr neither, but not bad. But if anybody new to knives is watching this, I really hope that right there showed you showed you the difference between steel. This knife right here, with much thinner geometry, at cut 4, I believe, started to get much harder to cut. And failed the test of, what, 7? If I say this was made out of D2, decently done D2 with this geometry, it would cut for a minute. Maybe even 2 minutes. So with that geometry, if it had geometry like this knife, it probably would have got 1 cut before it failed the test. That very thin edge absolutely makes a big difference, especially when it comes to testing on that paper. There's nothing on, this is oak wood and rope. There's nothing on this table that can damage that edge other than, wear from the rope. Yeah, there's, don't let people, you'll hear people out there that, oh, there's no difference between steels. Our grandfathers used railroad ties, made knives out of railroad ties, and it worked for them, so and we use 420 HC for the past 80 years, and it worked for our grandfathers and fathers. We don't need anything more than that. Okay, there's a big difference between steels. A big difference between steels. A big difference between steels. As big as this fucker's eyes. Difference between steels. Sorry, Bicloptopus. Sorry. You're a cute little dude. And to my daughter, I love that little thing. I'm just joking. All right, let's do this. So it should cut beautifully. And it does. It's 10. I'm not going to lie. Now that might just be... I'm not going to lie. I felt the drop that start. I felt bite start to fall off at about cut 8 just then. That's kind of scary and not looking very good. Maybe not, but it sure felt like it. Look at, ooh, that is not good. Let me, hold on. Maybe there's schmutz on the blade. Oh, that's no Doug. That is no Doug. Let's see if y'all can see it. Hold on. You should be able to see it. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. That's cooked. Well, okay, it's still getting through it. No, barely. Yeah, it's not over, but it ain't gonna go much more. That is done for. Hang on a second. I've told y'all they don't. CRKT does not do very good 8CR. This is some of the better 8CR I've had from them, and you see. Look at that. Where's it at? It's right there. Okay. Hold on a second. I'm trying to get y'all. Look at that. That's cooked. There it is. Okay. Trying to find it. All right. Nice looking edge. Nice looking edge. Oh, there it starts. Look at that. See that? See that silver looking line right there at the end of the edge? That's where the edge crushed in. Look at the damage behind it. That's crazy. Look at that. Wow. I think I was way off with my 30 guesstimation. I told y'all I felt the bite fall off. That was that edge blunting. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I can literally feel the edge blunt. That's 15. Yeah, see now it just slips over that part right there. Well, it's getting through it. If it don't tear, we don't call it. All right, it's not damaged enough that it's tearing. So we're at 15. I don't think it'll do anymore. That was 20. Oh, I wrote 20, damn it. Yeah, that's going to be it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's done for. Okay. It's done, folks. All right. Realistically, that probably didn't go 20. Probably went more like 16 or 17 when it actually failed. Or when the damage become enough to tear the paper. Okay. So, you know, that's really sad because that knife's on like his fifth or sixth edge, maybe even seventh or eighth edge. Anyways, it's had quite a few edges, so it's definitely nothing remaining from the factory edge. And it did 20, but like I said, more realistically, probably 20, but we'll put in parentheses, probably did like 16 or 17. It's had plenty of edges on it, that it's not a burnt edge or anything like that. That was a very well done edge. And well, let's see what the edge looks like after. It didn't look that bad after 10 cuts. See what it looks like after 20. Look at where it like actually like scraped the edge bevel. Like you can see it changed the finish of it. Wow, that steel must be super soft. Look at that. That's some pretty gnarly damage right there. All that right there. So yeah, that's just poorly done steel. CRKT, they do. It goes from okay. This is where I would put an okay one, which is quite bad, to terrible. And you know that this is good 8cr for CRKT. That's good for them. Now, to put that in perspective, remember, this garbage went, what, 7 cuts? Keep that in mind. But let's see, the factory edge on a Kershaw Chill did what? 16? Yeah, 16. That's a 8cr knife. And once I went and put a DMT 600, the second edge, it did 45. And was still cutting pretty decent at 45 and just barely tearing the paper. That's already got major damage at 20 cuts. So yeah, folks, CRKT, they just don't make very good knives. This here, I'll give this knife right here a passable score because it's little, it fits in a thick pocket, it carries nicely, it's a stout little guy, and it actually cuts pretty good and it performs pretty good. 60 cuts, not terrible. That's definitely serviceable edge retention for most people. Most people, the wear that this puts on a knife in those 60 cuts, most people are not going to put on that edge opening packages, cutting down cardboard boxes, you know, cutting a zip tie, just normal use. You're not going to put, the average person isn't going to put that much wear that those 60 cuts put on that edge within a month. So for the average person, this knife will stay absolutely, and remember, I'm only cutting on an area about that big of this blade. Maybe that big. So point is, you have a lot more cutting area than that. I would say for most people, this knife right here will stay usably sharp with no stropping or anything for a month or two. That is definitely serviceable edge retention. This knife right here, on the other hand, I mean, this edge failed within 20 cuts. And realistically, if y'all remember, at about 8, I told y'all I felt the bite drop off. That was when that edge started to fail. It just didn't fail enough to cause it to tear the paper. But there's some pretty heavy damage to this edge in 20 cuts. I can see it easily with the naked eye, but I can't get it on the camera. Come on. I mean, yeah, you just can't see it. But so realistically, say this, we'll just say it is 20 cuts. Now the deal is, where I cut with this knife, the area of the blade I used, and this knife is going to be about the same amount of area. Where I did the cutting with this knife is still quite sharp. That's still most people, if you handed them this and they went like this, they're going to say that's a sharp knife. This knife right now is still sharper than what's in the average person's pocket right now. If you took the average pocket knife, this knife right now is far sharper than the knife the average person's carrying in their pocket. In fact, I would say this knife right now, where I've cut with it, is still as sharp as most factory edges. Now, not talking like Spyderco or Cold Steel, but like your box store knives. Like, say you go buy hell, I can't think. One of the case knives at Walmart that are in the case, like a Gerber, whatever, Paraframe, or one of the Walmart bug out things. One of the, like, this knife is probably as sharp or sharper than most of those knives out of the pack right now after 60 cuts. This knife in that area, I would say most people, if they felt that, they would still say that feels sharp to them because it grabs the finger a little bit. But that's not a sharp knife by no means. That knife is dull. Will it grab your finger a little bit? Yes. But that knife is dull. That edge, that apex went from this to this. So there's a big difference in how these two knives dull. This knife right here will still do a lot of cutting. That edge is still sharp. This edge here is dull. Well, the area I cut on. But so what I'm getting at is this right here is a perfectly serviceable knife for most people. This is going to stay sharp for a good, month to 2 months for them without any maintenance. You don't even need to strop. The average person with just strop maintenance, an edge will go a year easily for them. Now this knife, because of the way it dulled and how quickly it dulled, but more importantly, the way it dulled, because it dulled with damage very quickly. I would say that this knife, not 8cr, 8cr, if it's done well, definitely has serviceable edge retention. But this knife and CRKT 8cr in general does not have serviceable edge retention because very little cutting and the edge degrades in a way that you would not be able to strop this back to sharp because of how damaged the apex is. To get this to come back, you would have to go over to like a ceramic rod. You're not where this edge is at right now. You could not strop this back to shave hair. You probably could strop it back to cut paper cleanly, but you're not stropping it back to a shaving point. And that's just after 20 cuts. In my opinion, that makes this knife not a serviceable knife. If I take this right here, well, let's do it. Let's do it. We're just going to go to some of Lacey's 7.5 micron. We're going to go at sharpening angle. Going to give it 10 passes. 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's see if we're shaving. Try to get where y'all can see. Man, I don't have no freaking hair. I've got to stop. I'm gonna have to start using my shaving on my legs because my arms need time to regrow. Well, y'all are all right. Maybe y'all can see right here. All right, let's see if it's shaving. Man, my skin's so dry. Tell you what, that's crazy how dry my skin is, and I put lotion on multiple times a day. Yes, it's barely shaving right now. It is shaving a little bit. That's crazy. I'm gonna have to go to a skin doctor. I don't know. You see this stuff? I don't know what this is, but over like the last year or two, this like randomly pops up on me. See it right there? I don't know what it is. I hate the doctor about that. I hate going to the doctor, but there's something going on with my skin like that. Yeah, I don't know. And my skin just is so dry. Put lotion on 2 or 3 times a day and it's still dry. So yeah, it's barely shaving right now, but let's just give it a few more. We'll go over to some 5 micron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm going to say right now it will shave. Like, it will shave well. Oh, yeah. Now it's popping hair. Okay. Can y'all see? Yeah, so it's shaving easily right now. See, just cut a bald spot. Okay. Yeah, I've got to stop. I got to let my arms regrow hair. This is that hand. This poor fucker's like almost bald. Um, so I did what? 10 and then 12. So here, we're going to even give this 8CR an advantage. We're going to go to 7.5. One. Oh, I can feel that edge damage big time on the strop. I'm going to give it more strops on the 7.5. To reform that apex. Okay, that was about double. That was about double the stropping passes. Now we'll give it 10 on the 5. Now Lacey's 7.5 is pretty aggressive stuff. So it might have brought this back, actually, even with that much edge damage. Yeah, it might have brought this back with that many passes. That's some pretty incredible stuff. That 7.5 or 9 is pretty incredible stuff. Like she's got some really good stuff going on right there. Oh yeah, easily. Okay. So, oh yeah, that's easily popping here. I don't know if y'all can see the shaving, but there's the bald spot. That's easily popping here. Now let's see if that edge damage is corrected. It probably is. That, like I said, that 7.5 is that's some gnarly stuff. It works so good. Like it'll bring an edge back from ridiculously dull and bring it back. Well, just like it just did this. Or 7.5 or 9. Like it'll bring edges that are way gone and bring them back. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Well, I give it too much of an advantage. There's still a little catch there, or maybe not. Look at that. It's easily push cutting. Yeah, that 7.5 is badass stuff. So that wasn't a very good example. It did bring it back. I figured that was going to be a little too far gone, but I should have knew if I went on the 7.5, it would bring it back. So, anyways, you see it. We got 60 cuts out of the D2. We got 20 cuts, realistically 16, probably 17 cuts out of the 8CR. More importantly, that D2 pretty much cut from cut 1 to say 45 with no, it felt the same. Like every cut, it didn't feel like it dulled at all. Then start from 45 till it failed, you could feel a little falling off. That 8CR, if I remember correctly, it seemed like it cut 7 or 8. I felt the bite just go plink, start to fall off. And rapidly too. I mean, like cutting great, cut great, cut great. Oh, not cut great. and then it just declined from there. Yeah. Now, and don't misconstrue this video. Okay, I'm not hating on 8cr. In fact, I'm an advocate of 8cr. I tell people all the time, 8cr is a perfectly serviceable everyday carry steel. And don't let people, talk shit about, oh, you only got 8cr, that's not serviceable. Don't pay attention to that. I'm an advocate for 8cr. If it's done well, it's a pretty decent steel. So I don't want this video to come off as like I'm saying, oh yeah, 8cr is garbage. 8cr is not garbage. If the heat treat is done well, if the steel is done well, 8cr is a pretty good performing steel. This video shows the D2 is middle of the pack. It's not terrible D2, because remember, good D2 does around 90 cuts. The worst D2 I've tested did, let's see, Kershaw, the Iridium did 63. Petrified Fish Beluga and the Kubi Nova did 90. What did the Walmart D2 do? Walmart D2 did 40. So yeah, I would put this in the upper middle pack for D2. It's not bad. It's not good. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's not bad. I'd say we're going to call it decent. It's decent. It's not good. It's not good enough to be called good, but it's not bad enough to be called bad. We're going to call it decent. This is decent D2. This is terrible 8cr. And see, that's the problem when you buy with CRKT knives. It's very common. They just continually put out poorly done steel. That D2, decent. I also have D2 from them that's terrible. That 8cr, yeah, that's terrible. That's about the best I can put it. I hate to call it that, but it is. That's terrible. And guess what? At least it sharpens decently. It don't sharpen terrible. It sharpened okay. But performance-wise, I would say this is not serviceable. Now, if you have a strop progression and aggressive, aggressive emulsions like Lacey's 9 or 7.5 micron, you can bring it back. Then it would be a daily user steel. You come home at the end of the day, strop it, you bring the edge right back. But say you just have a strop, a strop with some green chromium oxide snot on it. That's nowhere near aggressive enough to bring that back from where it was after these 20 cuts. Yeah, so I'm going to say for the average person that steel is not, this knife right here in particular is not serviceable. And overall, 8cr from CRKT is not serviceable because you're going to go cut a few boxes down. You cut a couple boxes down today, a couple boxes down tomorrow. You do that for 3 or 4 days, you have a dull knife. And it's too dull to strop back. You have to sharpen it. Yeah, and if you're actually somebody that's out, like say you're out on the farm or homestead or whatever the case, or in the warehouse, and you're actually really using your knife, you're gonna blow through this edge in no time flat. And say this was the factory edge, forget about it. It probably would have been cooked in 5 cuts. This is after quite a few edges and a very well done freehand Atoma 600 edge. So this is at the absolute best you're going to get out of this knife. And you know, a couple cuts on some heavy double wall cardboard, or you know, any thick plastic sheeting or stuff like that, or say you're cutting like a pallet wrap and it's dusty, you know, it's got dust all over it, it's dirty. You're going to kill that edge in literally a cut or two. 8CR, not a bad steal. CRKT's 8CR, don't buy it. Y'all have a good day.